Starley-Grainger. Thanks for joining us. Do you think people will be going away on holiday overseas from the 17th of May, which is the earliest that they could possibly be going away?
My feeling is if anybody goes away, it will be very few people to a very small number of destinations. But my instinct is telling me, based on the data and the talk from scientists, that it could be a bit later before even any travel corridors are opened up. But at most, there might be a couple of travel corridors by then.
And where might they be?
That is a stick your finger up in the air and guess. If you look at countries with the highest vaccination rates, you're looking at places like Israel, the USA, and if you look at countries that have the virus under control better, you're talking about New Zealand. And we know that New Zealand and Australia are opening a travel corridor, but the chances that these countries will be willing to negotiate one with the UK is another issue altogether. And there are complications because it's not just about how vaccinated your country is or how well that country has it under control. It's also about the people who are there that you will be mixing with from other destinations as well. It's a very complicated situation.
So what would your advice be to people who are desperate to book a holiday?
The UK is looking great this summer. I'm feeling very positive that we're going to be able to holiday in the UK. No guarantees, but I think that's looking highly likely given how well everything is going. Otherwise, I very much would wait and see. The Travel Advisory Committee from the government is giving its report on the 12th of April is when they're meant to do it. So it's just 6 days from now. So if you can hold off until then, there might be a little bit more clarity. But there are some real concerns about this, the traffic light system, because even if corridors open and it's with the traffic light system, if you're having to take tests, you could be looking at paying more than £200 per person to go to a green light destination. And if you get to a destination and suddenly it becomes amber or red, at red, you could potentially be looking at a £2,000 hotel bill on top of it. So we really need clarity before you book anything. So I would kind of wait for a few more days and then proceed with caution.
OK, I hear you loud and clear there. What are your thoughts further down the line, perhaps, on these so-called COVID passports? Could they help open up travel for people abroad?
Yeah, so the World Health Organization has said that that is not a priority for the world right now. Their priority is to get COVID under control. But the reality is we are likely to have some sort of vaccination passports hopefully later this year. Again, much like everything else, it's much more complex than people think, because what you have to realize is that there are now 12 approved vaccines around the world. So you have to decide which vaccines each country is willing to accept as part of its vaccine passport. In the UK, I think there are only 3 or 4 approved vaccines. Well, are they going to be willing to accept people from China or Russia who have used different vaccines? China has its own system with vaccine passports, and it's only letting people in who've used its vaccine. So it's very complex, but I think it's almost inevitable we will get to that stage. It just might not happen as quickly and as easily as people think. And of course, lots of people still haven't been vaccinated. And so that's another issue altogether to do with the ethics of vaccine passports.
It's a complicated picture. Jill Starley-Grainger, thanks so much for joining us.
Thank you.
Let's catch up with all the weather news now.